So what happens when the ground underneath a laboratory, a room jam-packed with chemicals, with biological agents, suddenly starts to shake? I mean, it is a terrifying thought. Today, we're going to break down a pretty critical guide to biosecurity and, frankly, survival when an earthquake hits your lab. You know, when we think about dangers in a lab, our minds immediately go to vials of scary stuff or bubbling chemicals. But in a real crisis, the most unpredictable and honestly the most dangerous variable, it's us. It's the people. How we prepare and how we react when things get crazy, that's what really decides what happens next. And that preparation, or, the lack of it doesn't just pop up when the tremors begin. Nope. It starts with the little habits we form and the kind of environment we create in the lab every single day. Okay, so look at these two pictures. On one side, you've got a prepared workspace. It's organized, everything is secure, pathways are clear, it's just built for safety. But on the other side, well, that might look a little too familiar to some of us. Cluttered surfaces, open containers, blocked exits. In an emergency, every single one of these little things becomes a massive liability. That unsecured beaker, it's now projectile. The clutter on the floor, that's a trap when you're trying to get out. And this is exactly why being proactive about organization is so critical. This isn't just about being tidy for the sake of it. It's our first and honestly our most important line of defense. The little choices we make when everything is calm are what will protect us when chaos breaks loose. So let's move into the moment itself. All that preparation we talked about, it is about to be put to the ultimate test. This is when pure instinct starts to take over. And then, just like that, in a split second, everything changes. That stable, controlled world of the lab is just shattered. I want you to imagine you're that lone worker for a second. The lights start to flicker, a low rumble just explodes into violent shaking. Everything that wasn't bolted down is now flying. Glassware shatters, chemicals spill. That disorganized workspace from before, it has just turned into an active minefield. And right in the middle of all of it, the worker, well, they panic. So here's the crucial thing to understand. Panic is a natural biological response. But in this kind of environment, it's a hazard multiplier. It completely overrides your training. So instead of drop, cover, and hold on, a panicked person might try to run right through a room filled with falling objects and invisible spills. They're dramatically increasing their own risk of getting hurt. Okay, the shaking stops, but the danger, it is far from over. In fact, when we're talking biosecurity, this is where some of the biggest, most critical mistakes get made. All right, the shaking's done, but the lab is an absolute wreck. So what are the wrong moves here? Because the actions you take in these next few minutes can either contain the disaster or kick off a brand new one. Let's just walk through this cascade of errors. First, the worker doesn't stop to assess the scene for new hazards, like are there down power lines? Is there a gas leak? Second, they rush right in without any PPE. No gloves, no goggles, zero protection. Then they see a spill and just start dealing with it improperly, maybe mixing chemicals or spreading contamination everywhere. And finally, in the cleanup, they're just throwing different kinds of hazardous waste together. This violates every protocol and creates a massive disposal risk. Every single one of these steps is a failure, and it's all rooted in that initial panic. Okay, so we've seen what not to do. How do you get it right? Well, the answer is having a clear practice plan that you can fall back on. A safe response really just breaks down into 3 simple phases. Before the quake, you secure everything. Heavy equipment, shelves, chemicals, you name it. You keep an inventory of your hazards. During the quake, you do not run. You drop, cover, and hold on. It is the gold standard for a reason. And after, and this is probably the most critical part, you stop. First, you assess the scene for new dangers. Then you put on your PPE. Only then do you start dealing with spills, using the correct protocols, and always segregating your waste. This all comes back to a single big idea, the preparedness principle. It's not about being able to predict a disaster, it's about preparing for the certainty that things can and will go wrong eventually. Now get a load of this number. Some sources suggest that up to 90% of injuries and damage in lab incidents aren't actually caused by the event itself, but by bad preparation and human error. That statistic is pretty shocking, right? But it's also incredibly empowering. It means the outcome is largely in our control. So what does that control actually look like? Well, it's built on a foundation of preparedness. It means doing regular drills until the correct response is just muscle memory. It means building a lab culture where safety and organization are the absolute norm. It means having clear protocols that everybody knows. And yeah, the personal accountability to actually follow them. It really all starts with us as individuals. I love this quote because it just cuts right to the heart of it all. In a crisis, you're not going to magically invent some brilliant solution on the spot. You're just going to do what you've practiced. Safety isn't about improvisation, it's a deeply ingrained habit. And that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. It's not a matter of if, but when. So I want you to take a hard look at your own workspace, your own lab's protocols, and your own training. Are you truly ready?